Welcome to the Dream 100 Show, the epicenter of influence, collaboration, and exponential growth. You're about to discover the power of relationships. Dream 100 relationships. And you're one relationship away from a totally different business and life. This is your host, Michael Tesner.
90% of business owners and even marketers make this mistake day in and day out when it comes to executing campaigns, new websites, rebrands, anything that comes back to marketing. Hi there, my name is Michael Tesner, and welcome to this week's edition of the Dream 100 Show. Now, there's a lot of mistakes that business owners and marketers alike make. I tend to say that if there's no problems, you've got no business. Like, problems usually can mean a sign that at least you've got some energy, you've got a pulse at your business, things aren't completely dead in the water. But I've been hearing from you, the listener, on trying to execute what I'll just label as a campaign, a funnel, an initiative. And I keep getting emails that sound something like this. Michael, I tried ABC, didn't really work. Any suggestions? ? Now, there's a lot of things that when I reply back and tell me about this, and I can diagnose it. But it becomes crystal clear even before I start to dive in, even before I start to kind of get more details and give me some more context. We had a listener send a message yesterday or the day before and said, we did this complete rebrand of our Shopify site and it was a complete flop so far. Now, unpacking that is a little bit of a different beast because there's a lot of things from, like, did your links change? From a search engine optimization standpoint, there's a lot of other things to unpack there, but they were referring more to they do a weekly email campaign. They assume that this new site, new landing pages, easier checkout experience, like everything would have improved regardless. So like there wasn't any changing variable week over week other than last week they had the old website, this week they had a new one. They expected to see a boost in conversion. And it was a very similar offer. So obviously with offers and headlines, like you can't be comparing apples to oranges. We need to have very, very slight variations. And then I asked one question. Tell me about all of the pre-work that you did. Tell me about the setup. Tell me about all the work that was done before you started redesigning the website. The people that write in and say, I tried this campaign, I threw whatever, $5,000 of Facebook ads over a few months, it didn't work. I tried the gifting strategy and it didn't work. I've talked many, many times about the biggest things that you end up kind of mucking up. And among the biggest is always longevity. But that doesn't explain if you threw $5,000 at Facebook ads, we should have gotten some kind of return. And I beg the question, and I circle back to that number one mistake that business owners are making and marketers are making alike is that you want to move too quickly and you skip all of the pre-work. You skip all of the setup. You skip all the strategy before all this other stuff. Like, it's not sexy to sit and do a brainstorm for 4 hours and to either have physical postcards or kind of virtual post-it notes, which I literally just did last week, and putting things all over the place and talking through, and it's a lot of work. But when you skip all of that setup, and I'm labeling setup in a generic sense, and we're going to unpack what does that actually mean. But when you fast forward and you move too swiftly, you're going to have blind spots and you're going to make rookie mistakes. I've talked a lot about rookie mistakes that I've made. One of the ones earliest in my career was for one of my first clients. His name was Matthew Ferry, and he's still around today. At the time, he was a life coach, a mentor to business people. He had a lot of different kind of things that we were promoting. I used to only exclusively work with high-end speakers, authors, coaches, and consultants. And this was way back when, like we're talking 15 plus years. So I'm dating myself a little bit. But I made a rookie mistake when it came to search engine optimization. I did the keyword research, and we looked at what were the top searched phrases, and life coach bar none. That was like, I don't remember the exact amount of, like, let's say it was 20,000 searches a month, and then like the next keyword that was similar to it was like 400 searches a month. So for like 2 years, we built backlinks, we purchased backlinks, we made microsites, content, like all the stuff that still works very well today. And it finally happened. After like 2 years, we obtained not only a top 10 listing, but I think we were number 2, even number 1 in Google. My claim to fame, among a few things, is still I know search engine optimization and dominating Google like the back of my hand. And while that took a lot of time, overnight, the traffic skyrocketed. Had a great glass of wine, called the client to celebrate, like fasten your seatbelt, buckle up. And you want to know what happened? Crickets, 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 crickets. Our website traffic started, again, exploding. Thousands and thousands of new visitors that we've never had before. But there was one problem. I skipped a rookie mistake. I didn't do enough of that industry research. I didn't do some testing to understand that people that were typing in life coach, again, this was 15 years ago, they didn't want a life coach. They wanted to become a life coach because that was becoming the cool thing. Like, how do I become a life coach? So every person that was coming to the website was coming looking at hire Matthew or buy his courses to improve your life. But in reality, they were looking for life coaching certifications, training, and that kind of content. I skipped the setup. I had my blinders on. I skipped the strategic piece of really unpacking, is that the right keyword for us? A better keyword at the time probably would have been something like turn my life around, improve my life, work-life balance, phrases that were a bit more relevant. But I wasted a lot of my money, some of the client's money, time, and the opportunity cost of 2 years of completely missing the mark. So when I look at why a lot of you are failing time and time and time again, we'll unpack that Shopify website. And when I got the reply back, so, well, we analyzed the website traffic. We looked at what our top pages were. So we wanted to make sure that those pages were in the navigation. And I said, how many customers did you call? How many surveys did you do? Did you use different heat maps to see where people's eyeballs are landing and all of that? Not just the surface level data, but did you actually go a couple of layers deeper? Did you look at the data to actually fully understand that while most people are still moving to mobile, the industry that this particular website is in, there was only 9% of people that actually were looking at it on a tablet or a mobile device. 9%. And they put all of their eggs then in the basket of optimizing for mobile. Now, we're not going to turn this into a programming lesson by any means, and there's ways to make responsive websites so it looks good on any website and any device. But if you put a mobile first strategy, you're going to do some different changes to the site. And people were actually looking at this historically on much bigger devices. The setup, the pre-work, the brainstorming, the surveying customers. That stuff is 10 times more important than actually designing then the actual site. The people that have written in and said, hey, I tried the personalized gifting strategies. And I reply back and I say, tell me all of the things that you did before you sent these gifts. And I'll get a response like I Googled top influencers, or I knew these people were big in the space. These people wrote books in the industry. I wanted to get in with them. So, okay, great. Did you retool all your social media? Did you retool your company's social media? Did you actually validate the list to know that these people that you have on the list are the right people? Did you validate the phone numbers? Did you check the addresses to make sure they still even live there or have a business there? And the answer is typically almost always no. 1 out of 10 times someone can show me all of the pre-work that they've done, all the pre-strategy, all the digging. And that is why with the Dream 100 framework, with marketing in general, all of this stuff before a campaign is so much more important. If you can't tell me who your audience is backwards and forwards, you're sunk. Internet marketing in general has really had a bad taste in most people's mouths because during COVID, and I hate even saying like pre-COVID and post-COVID, so I got to work on taking that out of my vocabulary. But everyone and their cousin wanted to become a marketing expert. And I can very rapidly see who doesn't know anything about an industry that they go in when they start running Facebook ads, and the ads use incorrect vernacular. So we serve a lot of different niches. One industry that we serve is we work with a lot of buy here, pay here dealers. So they finance on site, typically cater to people that don't have great credit. And I'll see people start running ads that say, do you want to sell more luxury vehicles? ? We can help raise your average ticket value. Just completely missing the mark of not knowing the industry, and it's all of that setup. Most of executing the Dream 100 framework is all the setup, and that's the stuff that we've been doing for 15 plus years. I had someone reach out that we had a great conversation with, and the reply said, well, I thought the strategy would be different. And it's interesting because I've done other podcasts about not only the strategy and the frameworks, but more importantly, following a proven framework. If you know that you're being given what we call a fortune map, a proven framework that's step by step by step by step, I don't care if you think that it's going to be something different. I don't care. And it's the same thing when I hire people. I am going to be their best student. I'm going to follow their process to the T as long as they've been able to show me testimonials and results. Why would I think that I can do something better? It makes absolutely no sense to me. And this is where the whole scarcity versus abundance mindset, it's crazy to me. But if I circle back to where you're messing up from a marketing standpoint, you're skipping all of these steps and you're only trying to go to the fun part, which is launching campaigns, driving paid traffic, doing joint venture deals, putting out a new logo, a new website, and you're skipping all of that pre-work, the pre-strategy. You can leverage AI to speed this up rapidly, but do not skip these steps. Don't launch a funnel because Michael said you want to move quickly. I love this framework called sloppy success. And that gets me out of the mindset of like everything has to be perfect. But I can tell you that I don't skip the research stage. And that is the stage that I want you to pause the next week or two on any new campaigns and do some more research about your audience. Do some more research about your customers, your prospects. How much are you in their head? Do you know what makes them tick, what they're literally lying in bed at night thinking about? How are all of the things that you're going to help them with now hurting all the other areas of their lives? You need to think through all of that. And some of the best ways is by calling, by doing surveys, doing interviews of your customers, and just getting that information so that when you are then ready, so you've checked the boxes, Michael, I've done the research, I've done the pre-work, we've got our ducks in order. Now let's move to the gifting strategy. I vetted the list, the audience, the gifts. Great. Now you're ready. Your success is going to largely be guaranteed. The number one mistake that business owners and marketers are making is skipping all of the research, the strategy, the setup beforehand. They move right to that final step because they want to move quick and be nimble because marketing is changing every 2 seconds, and that's valid. If you skip the research, you skip the strategy, you skip the setup, you are dooming yourself before you've even started. Next week, we're going to talk about the second biggest mistake that business owners are making when it comes to marketing and how to fix it. Michael Tasner signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.